Today we're going to take a look at a new component for Release 11. This is the image gallery component. So I'm just going to say I want to do a new web component. I want an image gallery, and the builder appears here. Now we'll take a quick look at properties. There's a default image directory just called images, and I've got some sample images in there. So before I even set any of the other options, I'm just going to go to Live Preview so we can see what this does. So in Live Preview, it's identified, the image gallery component has identified what browser it's running on, and it's optimized itself for that browser. So this is something new that you're going to see in Alpha 5, in that in order to support mobile, it's really important that we understand exactly what browser that we're on, and then we exploit the capabilities of that browser. So in this case, this is IE9, and IE9 doesn't understand how to do, for example, a pinch zoom, or it doesn't understand how to do a three-dimensional transform. And because of that, this has already adjusted itself for that behavior. I can just toggle easily between the different images, or I can come down here to the thumbnails and it scrolls. I can pick an image, that image will appear. So, and we really haven't done anything here. This is some EXIF information that it just pulled from the photo itself. But let's go back to design and get an idea of some of the options that we have here. So I could say, well, I'd like to show a slideshow button, and then my slideshow delay is 5,000 milliseconds, or 5 seconds by default. I'd like to display the image file name. If the image has any EXIF information, this is information that's embedded when you take the picture itself by the camera. For example, if you take a picture with the iPhone, it will have the lat long information, which is kind of nice, because then we can display a Google map that shows exactly where that image was taken. Some browsers support text-to-speech, specifically Mobile Safari does. So if you wanted to have descriptive information that could be spoken right on the device on an iPad or an iPhone, you'd want to turn that on. And here we say display image description in the info panel. Well, here we can bind this information to a table. So here we can say, we can specify, I want a SQL table. I can specify my connection string. I can specify the table. I can automatically map the fields. If their names are, say, file name and description, they'll automatically map. It's also looking for a file called directory name. In my case, I don't have one. I have one called directory, so I have to manually map that. If you don't have a table with this descriptive information, you can tell it to create an image gallery table, and it will automatically. It will create either a DBF or SQL table for you. So let's go take a look at what we have right now. So back to Live Preview, and we're going to notice a little bit of a change here. So we see this button over to the left. This is the slideshow button. So if I click on that button, or on a mobile device, if I tap it or touch it, then every 5 seconds the image will change. I'm going to go ahead and stop that for a second. You notice this I button came up. That's for information about this image. And in this case, there's some EXIF information that was brought up. So that's information that's stored with the image itself. So the EXIF information is pulled directly from the image. Let's go back. I'm going to show you, this is a picture of my garden actually, and this was taken with my iPhone. When I bring up the information about this, because I said, yeah, I'd like to have a map if possible, so this EXIF information is all stored by the iPhone. And in here, if you look closely, you'll see GPS latitude and GPS longitude. So that means that we can show a map. Now the map's going to fade in this case, because IE9 doesn't understand three-dimensional transforms. If I were to show this to you in Safari, it would actually just flip in. It looks really cool, and that's the way it will work on a mobile device. So I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go ahead and launch the same thing in Safari, and I want you to take a look at that. So here we have the image gallery component now running in Safari and under live preview. And I'm going to go ahead and here you'll actually see whether we support momentum scrolling within the thumbnails. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my garden shot again. And in this case, we'll bring up the information. And watch as I go to view the map, the whole panel flips. And that's because Safari understands how to do CSS 3D transforms. So that's kind of a really cool capability. Looks very native on a mobile device, and in this case it's running on Safari on my PC. You have full interaction capabilities with the map, so you can zoom in if you want. I'm going to go ahead and grab another image here. This is one that I took when I was out in San Francisco in November of last year, and of course it's the great shot of the Golden Gate. But let's go look at the map on this case, and we'll see exactly where I shot the picture, which was at Golden Gate Park. Let's go pan over to where I shot the picture, which is right here. And then you can bring this little guy down. This is kind of cool because you can see exactly where I took it. This is Golden Gate Park, and you can actually see where I took that image. If I close that out, go ahead and bring it back up, it will remember that we're in that particular view. You can just click on reset the map. It will go ahead and reset it and bring the map back accordingly. If I were to go ahead and resize the window, you'll notice that everything adjusts. So the sizing of the info panel, the map, and the thumbnail scroller and the image itself has all adjusted based on the size of the window here. And it happens on the fly. On a mobile device, if you change the orientation of the device, everything also will change accordingly. So this has just been a brief overview of the new image gallery component. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks.